I wonder what my lady would say. I wonder what my lady would say. I wonder what my lady would say.
Hello, my name is Malerie. You're watching GCTV. I'm here with Amy, who's the director of the Community and Economic Development Department in Greenfield. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No problem. Can you describe the role of the Community and Economic Development Department in Greenfield and your specific responsibilities within it?
Sure. So my department is Community and Economic Development, and we basically do all the things that we can to make sure that Greenfield's community is thriving, both the people that live here and the small businesses. Mm-hmm. So that is a pretty big umbrella that covers a lot of things, but we support housing development in Greenfield. We support small business development in Greenfield. We try to encourage new businesses to come to Greenfield, and we support a lot of arts and cultural activities all around Greenfield.
Why is the Community and Economic Development Department important to the city of Greenfield?
Oh my goodness. I would say it's important. I think of us as almost like a cheerleader for Greenfield, and a place within the city where we can answer a lot of questions and connect people with a lot of different resources, whether it's grant resources or helping them find the right folks that can answer questions or that can support them in making whatever they want to do happen, whether that's open a business or buy a home or put on a cultural event.
Could you share a bit about your educational and professional background leading up to your current role?
Sure. I went to school in Northampton. I graduated from Smith College, and I was an attorney for a little while. I went to law school in Boston, and that was very early on in my career. I was an attorney, and I didn't really love it, it turns out. So I tried a lot of other career paths, and I really found that the area where I loved working was with nonprofits, and specifically nonprofits that worked with communities a lot to support communities. And so that was like a natural pathway for me to come here.
What intentionally sparked your interest in community and economic development work?
Oh my goodness. I'm not sure if there was one thing that initially sparked it, but it's the thing that's always brought me the most satisfaction and the most happiness. I think if I had to pick a thing, I live in Northampton. I have for about 20 years, and I used to be involved with an organization called the Northampton Education Foundation, and they were a group of folks that worked with the community to try and raise funds to support public education. And it was the first not even job, volunteer role that I had, where there was a lot of community engagement and trying to get communities to support what the city was doing in the public schools. And I really loved that mix of city and community partnership.
What do you enjoy most about your job?
Oh my goodness. I'm going to say two things, but there's a long list. The first is the team that I work with in my office. It's just a group of really wonderful, smart, passionate, funny people, and I love coming to work every day because of the folks that I get to work with. And also the city of Greenfield. It is, again, coming here from Northampton, I wasn't sure what to expect. I had spent some time in Greenfield because I loved Hawks and Reed and the co-op, but I've gotten to know a lot of the people and the places that make Greenfield really special, and I love the really unique personality that Greenfield has, and I love getting to know it more every day.
How many team members are part of your department?
I have, it's myself, and it was 3 others, although one of my staff members just left to go have a wonderful job at the Chamber of Commerce. So right now it's myself and 2 other folks.
What does a typical workday look like for you?
I am happy to say there is never a typical workday for me. It feels like, because my department covers so many things, and we're often the catch-all for folks that have questions or ideas and don't have another place to turn. We have no typical day. Sometimes we're hanging art on the front of First National Bank. Sometimes we're in a Zoom meeting. Sometimes we're touring a property. Sometimes we're writing an agreement. It's really all over the place, and that's one of the best things about it.
What key skills or qualities are essential for success in your role?
I think the willingness to, I guess a couple things. The willingness to talk with anyone, to listen to everyone. Those are probably two of the most important things. And then the ability to follow through and show that you're not just listening for the sake of listening, but that you're taking to heart what people are telling you and trying to do the best that you can to create a solution or a program or a thing that is reflective of what people really want to see.
How does your department stay informed about emerging trends in community and economic development?
Goodness. I'm going to say 3 ways. The first is sad but true, email. We get a lot of newsletters and we do a lot of reading and paying attention to what's going on in the news. We also sometimes go to conferences, which are super helpful ways to hear from other people working in our practice areas and learn what other communities are doing. And I think the third way is just being out and talking to people. We do a lot of talking with a lot of other organizations and a lot of other cities. I think those are the ways.
What advice would you give to young people who are interested in pursuing a career in economic development?
I would say look for ways to get involved with the city, with wherever you are, whatever city you're living in, even if it's volunteering for like an event or participating on a committee, just getting a chance to see how a city operates. It's a very different creature than a nonprofit or a business. It has its own quirks, and I think that's a great way to get a flavor for what it would be like.
Can you tell me about some recent or ongoing projects your department is working on?
One exciting one that we really haven't had a chance to talk about too much yet is we were awarded a grant from the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism to do some placemaking downtown in the form of sidewalk painting, sidewalk chalk. So you may have seen downtown, there's some abolitionist paintings on the sidewalk which depict particular locations or people who were involved in Greenfield's abolitionist past. And we've been awarded a similar grant, but to focus on Greenfield's relationship with the Revolutionary War. And we're going to be working with the Historical Society and the Daughters of the American Revolution to highlight some of the stories that folks might not know about the people and places in Greenfield that were connected to the American Revolution.
Are there any policies or programs you're practically proud to have helped in employment?
Policies that I'm proud to have helped with. I think just broadly speaking, our department and the city as a whole has done a lot to encourage more housing in Greenfield. We've supported private developers and quasi-state agencies in creating or at least starting on the pathway to create a lot of affordable and market rate housing units. And we're pretty proud of that because it's a big need here in Greenfield.
How do you determine which development goals to prioritize?
Well, Greenfield has a master plan, the Sustainable Greenfields Plan. And in that plan, it identifies for each area what the priorities should be, including in housing and economic development. So that's sort of our big picture map that we use to guide us. And then we pay attention to what the priorities are that we hear from the community over the course of a year, what the priorities are that the state has. And for a while now, it's been pretty easy because they've been relatively obvious that we need more housing and our small businesses are really struggling. That's pretty true almost everywhere across the Commonwealth.
What kinds of businesses or industries are you hoping to interact to Greenfield in the coming years?
Two big ones leap out at me. The first are just independent small businesses that are retail and restaurant. We have a lot of wonderful ones downtown and we have room for more. And so I would love to see some of the spaces that are currently empty filled with some new shops and new restaurants. And then we also have a wonderful advanced manufacturing business community, believe it or not, and there is some room to grow there, and I would love to welcome some more companies in that area.
Are there any upcoming initiatives or changes the public should be aware of?
We just had a change that went through City Council. I don't think I have anything that is pending right now, but City Council did just approve a parking benefit district that we'll be rolling out. And essentially what that does is that allocates a portion of the parking revenue, so the money you pay to meters or the kiosks in the downtown area, and sets it aside for improvements to the downtown area that have to do with parking and transportation. So it could be things like plantings to make it look nicer when you park your car downtown, or cleaning, or trash cans, or wayfinding signs, things like that. So that just got approved by City Council last week, and we'll be rolling that out soon.
If you could make one major change to straighten economic development in Greenfield, what would it be?
Oh my goodness.
Sorry?
No, that's okay. I sometimes love questions where, like, if you could wave a magic wand, what would you do? And this is not a great answer, but it's the only one that's coming to my mind, and that is funding. I wish we had more funding, whether from the city or the state or the federal government, because there's a lot of need out there to support our businesses with improvements, code compliance, signage, all those things, and we just don't have money to put behind any of those initiatives. So if I could do anything, it would be to have $1 million fall out of the sky.
In what ways does your department collaborate with other city departments or community organizations?
Oh my goodness, we collaborate in all the ways. I think all that my department does is collaborate. I think just a couple of examples, we talk all the time with the DPW, because we do a lot of things that that puts things on sidewalks or in the street or in parking spaces, and we're always working with the DPW to make sure that we're not making their lives more difficult. We also work really closely with the Greenfield Business Association to do whatever we can to support their efforts. I think, especially in times like this now, working together is the only way that the things are going to get done.
How do you ensure that the economic development efforts benefit all members of the community, including unserved pollutions?
That's a great question. And I think, I think one of the benefits of community and economic development and the work that we do are, by nature, the things benefit everyone, even if they don't directly benefit you. So if I pick a project like helping to create affordable housing, even if you are a Greenfield resident who wouldn't be eligible for affordable housing, having those affordable housing units still helps you. It might help your friends or your family or your neighbors. It gives folks a place to live that might open up other housing for you. I think we try to be very conscious in my department of making sure that the things that we're doing benefit Greenfield as a whole, even if a particular program is targeted at a particular population.
How do you measure community satisfaction or feedback regarding development projects?
Another great question. I don't know that we have a good metric for measuring that, but I can tell you that we receive a lot of it. And we try to, as I said earlier, take that feedback into account. I don't keep a running tally of how many people I've heard or what I've heard from, but we do receive funding from some places that require us to collect public input, or that require us to do localized surveys or things like that. So on individual projects, we might track it, and as a whole, we don't track the feedback as a whole, but we always encourage it.
What role does sustainability or environmental impact play in your department's development decisions?
It's a big one. So part of the Sustainable Greenfield Master Plan for the city is right in the title, sustainability. For us, we see it most frequently when we do requests for proposals for development of housing, for example, and we get bids from developers. We often say that we will prioritize development proposals that incorporate green architecture, green infrastructure, sustainable efforts, things like that.
How does state or federal funding impact your department's efforts?
Significantly. Federal funding in particular, myself and two of my three colleagues, our salaries are paid in part by federal funding from HUD. And so it impacts us in our ability to collect a paycheck and not have that entire paycheck paid for by the city of Greenfield. And a lot of the work that we do, especially in the area of housing rehab and social service support, is grant funded by both the federal and the state.
What data points do you use to access the city's economic development process?
What data points do I use? Goodness.
Sorry.
No, these are great questions. No need to apologize at all. We access a lot of data, so we use census data. We also use data collected either internally or from area organizations like the Greenfield Business Association. The Franklin County Chamber of Commerce also has a great new data collection tool called Placer that we're just starting to tap into, which I think will be especially helpful for small businesses and for cultural events. They track the numbers of people at any event, and they can look back. So they could look at Winter Carnival and tell you there was about this many people this year, and that's more or less than Winter Carnival of last year, and can tell you certain demographic pieces of information about who they're seeing there. And so we can use all of those pieces of data to help us decide where to focus our efforts and where to put our dollars for things like marketing. Or
how does Greenfield's development approach compare with that of other municipalities in Massachusetts?
Municipalities?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. I think our development approach compares with a lot of other Western Mass municipalities, less so with Eastern Massachusetts. We're a pretty rural area, and we see this in housing a lot. When we talk to people in Eastern Mass and they talk about a small or a medium-sized development, they're talking about hundreds of units, hundreds of apartments, which for Greenfield would be enormous. So there's a difference of scale, and there's also a wild difference in their ability to finance things. A lot of the municipalities in Eastern Mass are a lot more affluent than Western Mass. But I think a lot of us in Western Mass face very similar challenges.
What are some of the most significant challenges you face in your work?
I think right now, uncertainty around funding is probably our biggest challenge. So much of what we do is funded through the state and through the federal government, and so much of the nonprofit partners that we support are also funded through the state or federal government. And so trying to navigate making sure that all of the programs that we support will continue if that funding goes away is particularly challenging right now.
Can you share any experiences with challenges in gaining community support for new initiatives?
That's a great question too. I'm gonna have to think about that one for a minute. I think again around housing in particular, we have had a remarkable amount of community support around different housing efforts. and different zoning changes that have gone through City Council. Those things are hard topics to talk about and hard changes to see in the city. And I think we've gotten a lot of public feedback on both sides of the issue, but I've been really impressed with how many folks in the community have rallied in support of creating more housing here.
What are some common myths? I'm sorry, I can't. I can barely say that word.
Which one? What are some common misconceptions people might have about your department's work? I'm not sure that people would have misconceptions. I suspect people don't know what my department does. So I don't know that they have a misconception. I think they're probably more likely to just be completely unsure or unaware of what we work on.
How have perspectives or strategies around economic development evolved since you entered the field?
Well, I am very new to the field. I've only been here for about 2 years. And so I would say since I entered the field, it has not changed terribly much. I think strategies around economic development changed during and after COVID. I suspect that was the biggest change. It changed how people go out in public, how they shop, although that was starting to change already. And it drastically changed, I think, the financial foothold that our small businesses had. I think that was probably the biggest shift.
What has been one of the most rewarding experiences in your career so far?
Okay, I'm going to give the answer that's in my head, and it feels a little bit cheesy. But honestly, getting this job has been incredibly rewarding. My predecessor, MJ Adams, had this job for quite a while and accomplished a ton. And I really didn't think or know if I was going to be capable of stepping into her shoes. And so the fact that Greenfield was willing to give me that opportunity was incredibly rewarding.
What are your hopes for Greenfield's future in terms of economic development?
I hope to see a downtown that is thriving and active and happy and full of foot traffic, and most importantly, unique and filled with the character that Greenfield has. I think it's a really unique place. It's not just a Northampton or just a Longmeadow or something like that. And I really hope that as Greenfield grows and develops, that it doesn't lose that unique personality and quirkiness and artsiness and bit of an edge that it has right now. And I think there's a way of making downtown vibrant and exciting while hanging on to all that makes Greenfield really special.
Can you share a piece of advice or insight that guides your approach to leadership or decision-making in your role?
I frequently feel like I say I didn't take this job to make friends, that I feel like I'm constantly guided by making the choice that I believe is the right one for the city as a whole and the right one to keep Greenfield on an upward track. And I know that I'm not going to be able to please everybody, and inevitably there's going to be people who are angry with me or with the city about a particular decision that we made, and I just try not to take it too personally.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Those were great questions. No, that was a wonderful list. Thank you so much.
No problem. And thank you so much for your time today.
Of course, anytime. Thank you.
No problem. And thanks for watching GCTV. See you next time.